Hello everyone, welcome back to the Dietary Factor, a show that brings you information about health and wellness and any other small habits that can help you have a very good lifestyle. My name is Mary Wyglad, and my fashion, or the way I look, it's inspired by Miss Ruth Michelle. She is a social and inclusion queen of Uganda 2024-2025. She inspires me by her dress code, so when you see how I look, just know I'm inspired by her. Today, we are going to talk about something that I like talking about. If you know me quite well, you have heard me talk about it quite a lot. So, talking about pregnancies and the risks that come with it. Today, we shall talk mainly about the risks that come with pregnancies and how to prevent them. One thing you should know that nutrition is very important when it comes to pregnancy, because remember, you're having a fetus in you, so at the end of the day you need to have good nutrition, because good nutrition will not only help the mother, it will also help the baby. So it will be good for both the mother, it will also be good for also the baby as well. We are going to look at 5 nutrition risks that happen during pregnancies, or that could be of risk nutritionally during pregnancy. So they're just basically 5 that I'll talk about. The rarely talked about ones are the ones that I'll talk about today. So probably next time we shall talk about those that we are usually talked about. The number 1 risk during pregnancies that can cause a nutritional risk to you is having multiple, they call it multiple pregnancy, or you could call it having twins or triplets. So when you are having twins or when you're having triplets, you are at risk of nutrition deficiencies, or you have a nutritional risk. Why? Because you have more than one fetus. So at the end of the day, you are feeding 2 kids in you, and as well yourself, you need to be nutritionally okay. So at the end of the day, if you are not having the right nutrition, it will impact your children and will also impact on you. You may give birth to preterm babies, you may give birth to babies of low birth weight because you have twins in you and you are not having the right nutritional intake. So, fun fact, or something that you should know, is that whenever you're having multiple pregnancies, your calorie intake increases by over 500 to 800 per day for a mother having twins. That is really an increase. So usually when you are pregnant having twins or triplets, you may feel hungry more often, but usually when people feel hungry, they just eat. As a mother, you shouldn't just eat, because having twins means you're at a nutritional risk. So what do you need to eat? You need to eat more nutritious food. Eat more nutrition-dense foods than just eating anything. So when you have multiple pregnancies, take care of what you eat. Ensure you're eating nutritional-dense foods. And it is very important to have an early antenatal visit so that the doctor can prescribe the right amounts of supplements, the supplements of folic acid, supplements of iron, supplements of calcium, etc., so that you are not nutritionally deprived during this period. I know it's very exciting to be an alongo, very exciting to have more than 1 kid that you are carrying, but the nutritional burden is also heavy. So ensure you prepare for it as well. That's if you have not yet conceived, and if you are having twins already right now, you have conceived twins, ensure you're always having nutritional dense foods. Number 2, when you are not spacing your children, you could have a nutritional risk. Too little space between children could be a risk to your nutrition as a mother, and it could also be a risk to the baby. Why? It is usually advisable to space between children, that is between 18 to 24 months. So that is literally 1.5 years to 2 years. So your child spacing should be between that range, advisably. However, we know that sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes as you are still breastfeeding, you're still having your baby, you find that you're already pregnant. So when you find yourself already pregnant, now you are at risk. Why? Because after giving birth, your body is rejuvenating. You are replacing the lost nutrients that you already lost, the calcium, the iron stores. So when you don't give your time for these stores to replenish, you may give your child, the baby or the fetus that you are carrying, risk of having these preterm births. They may not develop well, they may have cognitive issues. So it is very important to space your children not below 18 months. It could be a year and a half or 2 years. It will help you to rejuvenate your nutritional stores and as well to provide a conducive environment for your child. If you know you have given birth probably this year and you know you need to give birth sooner, it is very advisable to now improve on your nutritional intake so that you can keep replenishing your nutritional stores. But if you find yourself now you're already pregnant and you didn't plan for it, sometimes it happens, because I've seen some people crying and they're like, oh, I thought because I'm breastfeeding, I would not get pregnant. They say exclusive breastfeeding can prevent you from conceiving. Again, they say it's like a form of family planning when you are breastfeeding exclusively. However, we know of some people who still do exclusive breastfeeding and then at the end of the day they still see their periods, and when you see your periods it is very vital to know that you can easily get pregnant. But unless your periods haven't come and you are still breastfeeding, so you can have a chance of not getting pregnant. However, in case pregnancies happen between that closed space, eat nutritionally dense foods and seek advice from your doctor on how you can undergo this situation. Number 3, excessive weight gain. When you gain excessive weight during pregnancy, you're having a nutritional risk. Why? One, you should know that every time someone is pregnant, they will gain weight. But there is a recommended weight gain between these trimesters. So every trimester has a recommended weight gain that you should gain. But if you gain excess than you really need to gain, you are giving yourself risk of having babies that are over high birth weight. So at the end of the day, you have a risk of going through cesarean section because the babies are too big and you cannot give birth normally. Another thing, you are giving yourself a nutritional risk of gestational diabetes. I think you have heard of gestational diabetes. So when you are pregnant and you just eat less nutritional dense foods, just eat for two. You know, you've heard of the saying, eat for two. So some people literally just eat anything for two. So it's good to eat for two, but eat nutritionally dense foods, not just anything. Because if you eat anything, you will gain excess weight. Excess weight will not be good for you as a mother. So it is important to keep your weight in check so that you cannot be nutritionally at risk. Number 4, alcohol. When you are pregnant, it is very important to stay away from alcohol. There is no amount of alcohol that is safe during pregnancy. No amount. Even the least amount can have an impact on your baby. Why? When you take alcohol when you're pregnant, the child is at risk of having fetal alcohol syndrome, usually known as FAS. So fetal alcohol syndrome is a condition whereby you give birth to babies that have deformed or abnormalities in their faces. So their faces are they are deformed, in other words. You may have babies that have mental issues. Why? Because you drank alcohol during pregnancy. You give birth to a baby with mental issues. They are not having good learning abilities. That is because you drank alcohol during your pregnancy. So sometimes you may have your children, you're like, that these children are dull, these children are having mental issues, these children have been born with deformities in their faces, and you think it's witchcraft or so. No, it is because you did drink alcohol during pregnancy. So it is very important as a mother, stay away from alcohol when you are pregnant. As a father or as a brother, encourage your wife not to drink alcohol during pregnancy. It should be 0 alcohol during pregnancy. I think you have seen on every alcohol bottle and on every alcohol poster they say not safe, not to be consumed for people under 18, and also for pregnancies. I think you've seen the bottle, it always has a pregnant woman and a cross sign, meaning it is not safe for pregnant women. So if you're pregnant, stay away from alcohol. I know people keep saying that when you're pregnant and you drink spirits or some alcohols, you give birth to light-skinned children. What a myth. You give birth to light-skinned children, really? And at the end of the day, you're getting to find out that they have fetal alcohol syndrome. So stay away from alcohol if you're pregnant so that you give birth normally, you give birth to babies without deformities, you give birth to babies without mental issues, brain issues. So it's very important to stay away from alcohol. Emphasize no alcohol at all during pregnancy. And the last one that I could talk about is caffeine. Caffeine could give you it's a risk during pregnancy, consuming caffeine. A very little amount of caffeine is recommended during pregnancy. However, just to prevent it, it's better if you just do away with it. So where is caffeine found? Caffeine is found mostly in coffee. We know, all of us know caffeine for coffee, but it's not just coffee. We have caffeine in sodas, they're caffeinated sodas. So it's good to read the labels if there is caffeine in them. Then also chocolates as well have caffeine. So during pregnancies, if you're consuming a lot of caffeine, caffeine reduces on calcium absorption. So if you're doing a lot of caffeine, you may end up having bone issues during pregnancies and as well having bone issues for your baby. So it's advisable to do away with coffee or any caffeine. But if you can't do away with caffeine, please keep it limited. I've heard of a recommendation of 200 milligrams. So keep it as low as possible. 200 milligrams can just be a cup, only 1 cup per day. Caffeine also, it may cause you to get miscarriages. It may cause you to give birth to low birth weight babies because the caffeine may affect the development of the baby. Remember, if the caffeine goes through the placenta to the baby. Remember, the baby doesn't have enzymes that can break down this caffeine. As an adult, you do have this enzyme, but as a baby, the baby may not have this enzyme already developed. So at the end of the day, it may affect on their growth. So you are reducing or you are affecting the growth of your fetus. So it's very advisable to do away with caffeine. So now we have got to know that there are 5 risks that we have looked at today, and those 5 risks entail multiple pregnancies, that's having twins and so, short periods of time between pregnancies. We've also looked at excessive weight. We've also looked at alcohol, and we've looked at caffeine. So ensure these are in check. No alcohol during pregnancies, limited caffeine during pregnancies. If you cannot know the amounts, please just stay away from caffeine. You ensure that you have at least 18 to 24 months spacing between children. Ensure you have nutrition-dense foods instead of eating excessively, because if you eat excessively, at the end of the day, if you eat excessively, you may just have excessive birth weight. Alcohol and caffeine, ensure they're in check. And a bonus tip as a mother, ensure you keep away from stress, because if you're stressed during pregnancies, you'll be at risk of high blood pressure. And I know of mothers that have died when giving birth because they developed high blood pressure. Why? Because of stress. Stress can be a cause of it. So as a mother, stay away from stressful environments and stress when you're pregnant. I hope this is helpful for you, and it will help you have a very good pregnancy. You'll go through your pregnancy quite well if you keep these things in check. I hope this information has been good for you. Tell a friend to tell a friend. As a husband, tell your wife. And I hope to see you next time. Stay safe, stay healthy. Till next time, this is Wyglad Mary, the Dietary Factor. Bye-bye.